Tell, Cockerel. He's just a true guy. You'll have a true time. Tell, Cockerel. Leave your troubles at the door. You know the game, you know the score. We're here to have fun, so holster that gun and read the writing on the wall. The Predictions League, done every week. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerel. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. Jose gets himself around, always talking Spurs wherever he is found, home or away. He always tips to win, throws the form book in the bin with a cheeky knowing grin. Tell, Cockerel. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. The Predictions League, done every week. It just goes on and on and on and on. Why do I always get it wrong? Every time I play along. Tell, Cockerel. The show is so chilled, your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. Tell, Cockerel. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerel. The show is so chill, your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. Tell, Cockerel.
Hello? Oh, you caught me on the hop. I was eating. Sorry. Better, isn't it? Good afternoon, everybody, and good morning and good evening, depending where you are from. Here we go. Damn, my microphone up. Right, sorry. Here we go. Sorry. Good afternoon, everyone from the UK. Good morning to those in North America, and good evening to those down towards the down under part of the world. I hope you're all well. Welcome to week 7 competition results. What a weekend we've had. What a weekend we've had. I've not been able to look too tough. Hey, I'm going to open it now so I'm aware. Yes, smoked salmon sandwiches. Got to be done. I'm going to play football soon, so all right, let me see. Last week, right, okay, I've got it now. Right, Daz was here and there and everywhere, but he said he's going to watch back from work tomorrow because he's got work tomorrow, so he's going to watch back later. Ian is here. Says afternoon, Jose. Afternoon, or good afternoon, Ian. I hope you are well, sir. Whether you're in Scotland or whether you're in España. Good afternoon to you. It's an hour's difference, isn't it? Whether you're here or there, it's an hour's difference. Queen Ellie says, Jose, LTL Cockroach, if you want a good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. And she says, it's okay, a man's got to eat. She says to me, good afternoon, Queen Ellie, who's using a different account because it's not the one she normally uses, but it says Queen Ellie all the same. And Colin B, good afternoon, Colin B. I hope you are well. I hope you're well. Right. So, as we normally do, we'll start with good afternoon, Ryan. Ryan says good afternoon. We'll start with Predict the Football. And as you can see on Predict the Football, it's getting kind of boring now, isn't it, eh? Let me see if I can do this. Right, I've obviously done that wrong. Share the screen, share the screen, share the screen. Predict the Football again. Let's see if that works this time. Does that work this time? Has it worked? Okay, it's still going to show it this way. Anyway, as you can see in Predict the Prem, Ian says Scotland. Captain Tobias Wilcox is flying me on Coconut Airways tomorrow. I'm not saying where I'm going though. I will find out, Ian. You know I will. Ryan G says, I checked this last night. You smashed it on there, Jose. It ain't, mate. I'm smashing it everywhere I go, Ryan. And Colin B says, trying to rejoin the bank is being a pain. It will be done as soon as possible. Yeah, no worries, Colin. The everyone's welcome to watch this. It's the predictions don't happen until Wednesday, so you're all right, mate. Yeah, sorry. Predict the Prem. I've now opened a 31-point lead. 31-point lead. And if you notice this, if you can see it properly, if you notice the goal difference, I am the only person in this league on goal difference that's positive. I have positive 28 goal difference. Everybody else is on minus. So that means that the goals that they are predicting are not happening. So yeah, I've opened up the lead. My lead, I was leading by about 19 points last week. I've now opened it up to 31 points is my lead. It's still young. It's only 7 weeks in. Kevin Clark is doing the chasing this time round. He's now in second place on 61. Vindutz, who was there or thereabouts, is on 59. Scott C, 57. Paul G, who's missed a whole week and one game, is up into 5th on 54. Then you've got Shemtam on 51, Fiona on 49, Jess is on 49, Graham is on 48, Chris Peters is on 47, Ryan, who's missed one game, is on 47, Ronnie's on 47, Archer's missed one game, is on 46, Neil has missed half of a week, is on 44, Sir Rob, and all our wishes are with Sir Rob, and to a speedy recovery, he's on 42, Daz, 39, Carl 39, Darren's on 37, Totspur's 33, Ed M is on 33, Cy is on 25, Patrick O'Donnell's on 5, and Quezali's on 1. So Jose is leading the way on Predict the Prem. Julius here says afternoon, Jose and the Cockrell crew. Ryan G says he's starting to pick up. I know you had a good weekend, I think, this week. I'm not going to say too much. And Ed M says afternoon, Jose and chat. Good afternoon, Ed M. Good afternoon, Drooler, as well. And then the next game that we play is Fantasy Football League. Right, let me just get the next one. Right, because I only ever read out the ones in green, the ones that have gone up. So the fantasy football results are as follows. Right, let me have a look. Let's get the fantasy football screens up. We have 62 players playing now. And these people towards the bottom here, Sahil had a good week. He started late. He's had a good week. He scored 72 points, but he remains bottom. But he's
half the deficit on Smithy. Alan, with his team venture, Ratdos Madness, has gone up to 55th. He scored 78 points this week. Kevin Clark with Wolf Raven scored 58 points this week and has gone up into 54th. Neil with his son's farewell, 61 points, has put him into 53rd place. Paul G, wishing upon a star, 72 points, has taken him to 50th. Adam with his St. Ephraim's got 67 points and took him to 49th. No balls, just banter. Miss Boxall, Kate, 68 points into 47th place. Alfie, with his Dancing in the Dark, 60 points has got him into 44th. Young James, Don't Give Up FC, 60 points has put him up into 43rd. Spotlight on Spurs for Lukey Boy, 74 points has put him up into 42nd. My darling wife, nothing to see here, 90 points, 39th place. It's her name, but my team. I do all the selecting. Blake, 82 points for his Saka Bean already, and he's up into 37th. For our old friend Grant, the Brighton supporter, that's proper Minte, 89 points this week, 32nd place. Darren Watts, with his sweet and sour, 72 points, up into 29th. Young Josh, Totspurs, 78 points and up into 27th. Adrian Chia with his Pedro Express, 75 points, took him to 26th. Brian Timlin with his To Be Frank With You, 65 points, has taken him up to 25th. Tot Josh, 66 points, up into 24th. Rahman with his Rock Spurs, 76 points, has taken him up to 20th. Last year's champion, Ped, 83 points with his West Ham United FC, has taken him up into 19th. Tanju with his Turkish Warriors, 87 points into 17th. Ronnie with his Ronski, 83 points, up into 16th. Sir Rob Belcher, 115 points. That is hot to trot. With his Bilbao Hotspurs, 115 points, has taken him up into 12th place. Robbie Clark, young Robbie, 70 points with his Red Jed Redemption, up into 11th. And Fiona's made a move with Thomas the Frank Engine, 81 points, has taken her into 10th. Up into 5th with 79 points, Nicholas Collison's Let's Be Frank. Up into 3rd with 95 points, our very own Ed M with Tadarius to Kudos, up into 3rd. Anthony Herbert, 90 points this week with his Gunners 79, is up into 2nd. But your leader again this week is Mark Oliver with Butterpants and 83 points. So well done, Mark, and well done to all the shakers and movers this week in the Fantasy Premier League. Ronnie is here. Good afternoon, Ronnie. I hope you're well. So it's that time again in the show where I'm going to ask you guys, how do you think you got on this week? Tell me your points. How do you think you got on? Did you outscore what you did last week? That'd be a good start, wouldn't it? Ryan G. Ryan G, you did score 17 points. You did score 17 points, my friend. Ed M. No 8 points for Ed. You did not score 8 points, Ed. We got anyone else guessing their scores? Ian says he's got 13. He says Grealish cost me another 3 and several near misses. Ian says he's got 13. Ian, you did score 13. Ryan G says we're so close to Arsenal and Everton as well. Was you? Ronnie says he got 10. No, Ronnie. No, Ronnie, you did not score 11. Ellie's guessing at 11. Ellie, you did not score 11. This week's averages. Last week was 5.2. Well, this week's averages are 11.8. 11.8 are this week's averages. So anyone that scored 12 and above, you're above average. Anyone who scored 11 and below, you were below average. Archer is here. Good afternoon, Archer. I hope you're well. Says afternoon. How's any chat? I think I scored 7 points. Better than last week, but in 3 separate matches, I was robbed of 6 points by injury time goals. Archer, you did in fact score 7 points this week. Anyone else guessing what they got? No, Ellie, all I said is you didn't score 11. I'm not, I haven't told you how much you scored. I'm not going to tell you. I don't tell anyone what they scored. If you're right in what you say, in what you scored, then I'll say you're right. You did score it. If you give me a number and it's wrong, I'm just going to say it's wrong. I'm not going to start telling people what the number is. The number's just wrong. So you may or may not. You don't know yet because the results haven't come up yet. It doesn't look like we've got many more. We've got more people watching us than are actually putting on the screen what they're getting. Did Drula give me some points? Drula hasn't given me a score yet, has she? No, Drula hasn't. And she was watching earlier. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 people have guessed their scores, and there's 17 watching. So, well, I don't know. I don't know the maths for that, but let's have a look. Right. Drula says she got 10. And the likes are 12 and 17 people watching. So that like button's not being hit either. Let me see what Drula scored. Drula says she got 10. Drula did get 10. Drula did get 10. But like I said, this week was not like last week. Last week was 5.2 and there was some shocking. It's the lowest I've ever seen fantasy last week. But this week we've climbed up to 11.88, I think it was. Let me just do it again. 11.83. So 12 and above, you're above average. And 10 and below, you were below average. So the scores this week, and it's going to look a bit different because my trusty steed has not put them into the back for me. So I have had to do it in another way. And the scores on the doors for this week are scores on the doors. All right, let me just bring this up. Share screen. Let me see if this works properly. There you go. There you go for this week. So we start with the first game was, this has got a lot more colour than what last week had. The first game was Bournemouth 3, Fulham 1, and the correct scoreline came in from yours truly, Daz Reynolds, Ryan G, David Shear, and Alan Rakdos Madness. All correctly predicted the 3-1. Anybody that got an orange, it means you predicted a home win, but you didn't get the correct score. Game number 2 was Leeds 1, Tottenham 2. Excuse me. Correct predictions came in from Shemtam, Ellie, Scott C, Chris Peters, Ryan G again, Nita, Tot Spurs, James, Alan Rakdosmanis again, Vindaloo, and Ian all correctly predicted the 1-2 scoreline. Game number 3 was the Arsenal 2, West Ham 0. Correct predictions came in from Ronnie, Nick, James, Ed M, and anybody else that's got an orange there predicted a home victory. The only person who never scored a point was Kuva, who went for a 0-7 win for West Ham, for obvious reasons. And then we went on to Manchester United versus Sunderland. And correct prediction in this game went to Ryan G and to Ian Meth. Both predicted a 2-0. Anybody else in orange predicted a home victory and therefore scored a point. Fifth game and the last game on Saturday evening was Chelsea 2, Liverpool 1. Chelsea scoring in the 90 whatever it was minute with Esteban, and only 2 people predicted a home win and got the correct scoreline as well. And that was yours truly and Colin B. They were the only 2 people that correctly predicted it. So well done to them 2. Everybody else is in white because they predicted a draw or an away victory for Liverpool. So there's only 2 predictions, Ian. 2 predictions only for the home victory, and they were both correct scorelines from me and Colin B. Then we have Aston Villa versus Burnley, which another game that ended in 2-1. And the correct scoreline was selected by Jess, Shemtam, Scott C, Colin B, and Tot Spurs, Alan, and Vindaloo all correctly predicted a home victory for Burnley. Anyone else that's in orange predicted a home victory, but not the correct scoreline. There are 4 people that only predicted a draw, so therefore with the draw they didn't get very far. And then we go to Everton versus Crystal Palace. This is another game that finished 2-1, where Everton scored in the dying embers with Jack Grealish. But Jack Grealish's goal in the dying embers ended up getting Jose a green. Ryan Tristane also got a green. Colin B got a green for correctly predicting it. And so did David Shear for predicting 2-1. So 4 scorelines. So 4 home wins. And all the home wins were a correct scoreline. Nobody predicted Everton to win other than these 4 that got greens. And they got greens at that. A bit the same like Chelsea-Liverpool. 2 greens for 2 home predictions, correct scorelines. And then we went over to Newcastle, Nottingham Forest. I was so urging Newcastle to score a 3rd goal because it would have given me another green. But they didn't do it for me. But the correct scoreline for Newcastle versus Nottingham Forest came in for Scott Colliver, Chris Peters, Nick, Young James, Ed M, Alan, and Ian Meth. All correctly predicted 2-0. And therefore got the greens, 3 points. But everybody got a point in this game because everybody predicted a Newcastle victory. So all the oranges got everyone a point each as well. We then went on to Wolves versus Brighton. And this ended up being a 1-1 draw. And only 3 people predicted draws in this game, but the wrong draw, but got a point for it anyway. And the draw points went to Ryan G picked up a point, Graham picked up a point, and David Shear picked up a point for a draw in that game. We then moved on to the last game, which was yesterday afternoon, and it was Brentford 0, Man City 1. Nobody predicted a 0-1 scoreline. All the people in orange predicted an away victory of some sort, and therefore gained a point. And then we went on to, I said that the games would be tight as can be. I said I picked some tight games. Lazio 3, Torino 3 kicked off on Saturday afternoon, was the first of the bonus games. And no one correctly predicted it, a 3-3 draw. Who would have predicted that? But 3-3 draw, Ronnie picked up a point for predicting a draw. Graham picked up a point for predicting a draw. And Alan picked up a point for predicting a draw. but no one had the 3-3 draw. Then we went to Borussia Dortmund versus Leipzig, which also ended in a draw at 1-1. And the correct prediction came in from Colin B and Nita, both correctly predicted a 1-1 draw. Anybody else in orange there predicted a draw, but of a different kind and a different score line, but picked up a point nonetheless. And then we've got Real Madrid 3, Villarreal 1. So this was first versus third or something on Saturday evening. And the correct predictions, a 3-1 win. The correct predictions came in from yours truly, Jess, Drula, Ryan G, Nick, and Vindaloo. Everybody else that had predicted a home victory picked up a point and is in orange. So well done, everybody. And that means that this week, the man of the week with 18 points was yours truly. 18 points for yours truly. 4 greens. I will say that on Sunday, before Sunday's games kicked off, the person that was in the lead was Ryan G. Before Sunday's games kicked off. But I had a really good Sunday compared to Ryan G. So just overtook him. I think Ryan G might have been a point in front of me on the Saturday's games. But Ryan done well as well. But you got Archer scored 7 points. Jess double figures 10. Drula double figures 10. Daz scored 8. Shemtam above average 11. Ronnie above average 11. Ellie 10. Scott Colliver above average 13. Chris Peters scored 8. Ryan Trestane scored 8. Colin B 17. Ryan G 17. 2 great scores. Nick 16. Another great score. Then we had Graham with 9. Nita with an above average. No, she's not. He's 11. So Nita scored 11, which is just below average. Tot Spurs scored 12 above average. James got 13, was above average. Sorry, Tot Spurs scored 12. David Shear scored 13. James scored 14. Ed M 11 above average. Alan 16 had a good week. Vindaloo 15's had a decent week as well. Kuva 6. Ian 13 above average. So people having a good week. And like I said, this week's averages are 11.83. So well done, everyone that took part this week. What did that do for the league tables? Now I've got to find the league table. What did that do for the league tables? Sheet 1 and sheet 2. I don't know what it's going to look like, as I said, because that could look different. I'm going to have to... right. Am I going to get it all on this page? Whoops. Let me go back down there. All right, let's share this. So the league table looks like as follows. Right, so the league table starts in 43rd place. All right, let me have a look. Right, so Ryan Trestane up into 29th with 41 points. Daz Reynolds has climbed into 24th place with 57 points. Young James is up into 21st with 64 points. Shemtam is up into 20th with 66 points. Ed M climbed up into 19th with 68 points. Then we have Colin B up into 13th with 75 points. Nita is up into 12th with 76 points. Alan is into the top 10 with 80 points. Ryan G, with his big haul this week, has gone up into 9th with 81 points. Scott C has gone up into 7th with 83 points. Then we have Ian has gone up into 4th with 84 points. And Nick has gone up into third with 87 points. Vindaloo is second with 100 points, and yours truly is leading with 112 points. So Jose and Vindaloo are the first two to break 100 points so far this season. And that is your results show, people. That is your results show. Good afternoon, Adrian. I see that Adrian's popped in. Good afternoon, Adrian. I hope you're well, sir. Shemtam, good afternoon. He says, afternoon, Mr. Bossman. I hope you are well. Trying to find my mum a dentist that takes NHS patients and deal with patients on blood thinners. I have a huge headache now. Yeah, do you know what, Shemtam? You're quite right. With the dentist, we were on the same practice, right? We were all in the same practice, and if you don't go for 2 years or whatever, that you get struck off. So no rhyme or reason. They don't warn you or anything. So obviously, I've had no treatment done because I had nothing wrong with my teeth. And when I did have a toothache, I rang up the dentist and they said you're no longer on our list because you've gone past not seeing us for 2 years. And in that case, we're not accepting any NHS patients anymore. You have to find yourself a new dentist. Suffice to say that me and my wife are still without a dentist. My daughters, luckily enough, they got an appointment before their 2 years were up, just by luck, nothing more than luck. So they are still registered, and me and my wife ain't. We've got to find new dentist. So I appreciate and I understand what's going on. With regards this week's, and I bet I didn't put it up because I know Ian was around. Right, with the regards this week's predictions, it is International Week this week, so I'm doing 2 sets of predictions. We're going to do part 1 on Wednesday at 4 o'clock and part 2 on Thursday at 4 o'clock. And then we amalgamate it and it'll be a selection of games on both days, and that will give us the big number instead of doing a whole load one show on a Friday, because I'd never ever get to play football. Colin Blackshaw, you've become a new member. So it must have worked, Colin, but well done. Thank you very much for rejoining. And Jess has also become a YouTube member. So Jess and Colin B have become YouTube members. The bit about the YouTube membership is important because if you've got the membership, then you can take part in predictions. Ellie, you might need to use your other login thingy because this one shows no membership, this one that you're using at the moment. So you might have to log back into the one that's got the membership if you still got it. But that is your results show for week 7. Now we've got the international break. Everything goes into a lull. Everything goes into slow-mo. And we just have to sit by, watch the world go by, do the things that we need to do, and wait for football to start again in 2 weekends' time. But what I will say is that saviour is that we've got the international break. We have got the we have got the predictions. How many games for the international break? I'm not sure yet whether I'm going to do 24. Last time I did 25, but that's because I made a mistake. I picked 13 on one day and 12 on the other. Normally I'd like to do 12 and 12, but I'll tell you what, it all depends on how we get on in the shows and how we do it, because what will end up happening, Ryan, is that on Wednesday night after that show, people will leave predictions in. So I'll be working Thursday, but on Thursday I'll be working and then having to catch up with everyone that's put predictions in after the show. And then on Thursday, after work or whatever, I will then be chasing everyone's towels on Thursday and Friday, putting in people's predictions they put in for Thursday. So I'm undecided. It'll be 24 minimum. It's going to be 12 on each day minimum. If we add a one more or whatever, I don't know. Shemtam has said he's flexing his 10-month member badge. Thank you for being a member, Shem, for 10 months. Says thanks for all your hard work, Mr. Bossman. Thank you very much, Shemtam. Hopefully it brings happiness to yourselves and breaks up the week for you and stuff like that, having these type of shows. But I'll be back on Wednesday at 4 o'clock. So until then, have a really good week, and I will catch up with you lot on Wednesday. Thank you very much, everyone. And as always, it's come on, you Spurs.
Tell, Cockerel. He's just a true guy. You'll have a true time. Tell, Cockerel. Leave your troubles at the door. You know the game, you know the score. We're here to have fun, so holster that gun and read the writing on the wall. The Predictions League, done every week. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerel. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. Jose gets himself around. Always talking Spurs, wherever he is found, home or away. He always tips to win, throws the form book in the bin with a cheeky knowing grin. Tell, Cockerel. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. The Predictions League, done every week. It just goes on and on and on and on. Why do I always get it wrong? Every time I play along. Tell, Cockerel. The show is so chilled. Your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. Tell, Cockerel. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerel. The show is so chill. Your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at.